If money was just a math problem, there would be no high income earners that are drowning in debt. If paying off debt was just about making extra payments, there would be no one that feels stuck with it. And if saving money was just about cutting expenses, everyone would have a huge emergency fund. But that's not the reality, is it? The truth is, most people don't struggle with what to do with their money. They struggle with why they aren't doing it. So in this video, I'm breaking down the 4 steps that finally gave clarity and control in my own personal finances. And now I want to share them with you. They're so simple that you could actually start working on these today. With that said, let's jump into the first step, which is awareness comes before action. A lot of people think fixing their finances starts with a budget. And 10 years ago, I made the same mistake too. I thought that if I could just make the perfect budget, that everything would fall into place. I had an accounting degree. I understood numbers pretty well, but despite all of that, I was living paycheck to paycheck because deep down, my habits, my beliefs, my behaviors around money were working against me. My budget kept failing because I had no clue where my money was going. I remember the first time I tracked my spending for a full month. I thought that I was only spending a little on dining out and restaurants and maybe $100 tops. Turns out it was over $600. How does that even happen? And it wasn't just food. Little Amazon purchases, random subscriptions, impulse buys, they were all eating away at my paycheck. I was working hard, making decent money, and it felt like every dollar I earned was slipping through my fingers. At the end of every month, I would ask myself, where did all the money go? But I never made any changes, and unsurprisingly, the same outcome kept happening. What was the fix? I stopped guessing and started tracking, but more importantly, I had a bigger reason as to why I was doing this thing in the first place, and I'm going to be talking about that in one of the later steps. Seeing those numbers in black and white, it was painful, but it allowed me to face my fears and move forward and start making changes with my finances. Bringing us perfectly into step 2, financial success comes from small, repeatable habits. Most people think they need to make massive lifestyle changes to fix their finances, like sell the car, cut every fun expense, and live off rice and beans. I used to believe that too, but every time I tried to go all in on changing my spending habits overnight, I would fail miserably. I'd be super disciplined for a couple weeks, but then a bad day would hit and I would blow all my budget on DoorDash or random shopping. And because it felt like that I failed, I just kind of gave up completely. But what finally worked? Building small, repeatable habits. I started checking my bank account every morning, not to judge myself, but just to see where I stood. I set a reminder every Sunday to review my budget to see if I was on target. And I automated my savings so I didn't have to rely on willpower or remembering to do it. These were all things in my control, but at first they seemed too small to matter, but over time they built momentum. And when you have momentum, that's when the real financial progress starts to happen. If you've been struggling with momentum in your personal finances, I created a free course and community specifically designed for you. It's called Dollar Discipline University, where I combine my skills as a corporate accountant with my own personal finance fails to help you build a solid financial foundation. The goal is to help you pay off things like your credit card, your student loans, way more efficiently. Right now, everything inside this community is completely free, including my time. So until my calendar fills up, I'm taking free strategy calls with every new member that joins. So come check out Dollar Discipline University at school.com/debt. The link is down in the description. Bringing us to step 3, your goals have to align with your spending. Here's the problem. I kept trying to cut back in expenses, but every time I made a little progress, I'd slip back into my old habits. Why? Because I didn't have a real reason to change. I'd tell myself I should be saving more money, but I didn't actually know why. So when a trip or a concert or a new gadget popped up, I would convince myself that it was worth it and I would spend the money. The turning point happened when I got crystal clear on my goals. I wanted to pay off debt so I could stop feeling like my paycheck was already spent before I received it. I wanted to build savings so I wasn't consistently stressed about the next unexpected expense. I wanted to have financial freedom, and I wanted to make the choices that I wanted to make and not the ones that I had to make because I felt stuck. Once I had clear goals, every financial decision was much easier, and I wasn't just cutting back anymore. I was making financial decisions that were moving me in the direction of where I wanted to go, which transitions perfectly to step 4. Your beliefs about money shape your reality. This one was huge for me. I used to believe that debt was just a normal part of life, that I would always struggle with money, and that building wealth was for other people. And guess what? I stayed stuck with those beliefs for way too long, but it wasn't until I shifted my mindset and asked myself, why not me? Everything changed. I stopped seeing debt as something that I had to live with, and I just started aggressively paying it down. I stopped thinking that I was just bad with money, and I just started being more intentional with what I was doing in my day-to-day life. And I stopped feeling guilty for wanting to feel financially free and just started taking the steps that I wanted to take in my life. Not only did these mindset shifts help me pay off $43,000 of debt in just 13 months, but build a financial security and finally feel in control of my money. But eventually, you're gonna have to build a sustainable budgeting process to help you move forward. I created a video with the 6 budgeting hacks I wish I knew 10 years ago, back then when I was starting, and my hope is that it's gonna save you the pain that I had to go through. If that sounds interesting, I'll see you on the other side.